Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Noisy Neighbours podcast. It's been a while, Christian. I've been away with the family, and weirdly, you're going away tomorrow, so we're just
Yeah,
about met in the middle, aren't we? Other than packing and celebrating another FA Cup final, how are you doing, mate? Are you okay?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, it's been. It does feel a long time, doesn't it, since our last one? I can't even remember what our last pod
Yeah.
was about. I imagine we were
Honestly,
moaning
I
about
think it was.
something.
This is really bad, but I think it was Declan Rice. I think we had the watch along, which felt like. I mean, honestly, that Leon game was just madness, wasn't it? So,
I remember that. Yeah, we had to jump on. We weren't even intending on doing it, were we? But the
yeah,
madness that Onana conjured,
yeah.
we had no
No,
choice but to jump on.
well, we had that, and then we had the second leg as well.
We,
Like,
yeah, we had the
so,
legit watch along.
and then I went away Easter weekend. Yeah, we had Easter and stuff. So yeah, it all sort of happened at the wrong time. And you're going away tomorrow, so we've met in the middle for a
Yeah.
little episode on something that came up while I was away, which is so a little bit late to talking about this, but still definitely want to go through it, the pros, the cons, and what this might mean for United moving forward. Matheus Cunha, Wolves number 10 forward, attacker, whatever you want to sort of quantify his position. He's a bit of a maverick, really. 25-year-old forward for Wolves is heavily linked now. It looks like Man United are going to get this deal done. Cunha has had these interviews here and there in previous off seasons where he said he likes United and maybe he's a bit of a United fan. Maybe, I don't know. And obviously we desperately need forwards because the current crop are terrible. So let's get into it. Release clause 62.5 million. So that's the fee. Looks like United are just going to pay it. That apparently the funds are available. Ornstein is saying talks have advanced well. Yeah, I mean, what's your initial reaction to United going and looking like they're going to sign Cunha? Probably day one of the window. Might get a here we go soon from Romano. What do you think on that deal from a neutral perspective?
I think it's more. He definitely improves you. Look, he's had a really good year, and I think I said this to you a long time ago when we signed Matheus Nunes. That game in particular that we bought from, me and you spoke about a lot in the past. I said straight away we bought the wrong one, and I think everyone could see that. Cunha was much more talented, much better player. He's a solid player in the Prem, and I think he certainly makes you better. I think the conversation, I'd rather flip on you first, to be fair, you being the United fan. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Do you think he's the right profile of player United should be hunting down?
Yeah, I do. And the reason why is because we're married to this system. Whether I would play it or not is a different conversation, but we are married to this system and this manager right now, at least for the foreseeable. How it's going to go, I'm not sure, but he's going to get the summer regardless of what happens. Obviously the Europa League is the only thing meaningful to play for. He's going to get the summer. He's going to get a window, and he obviously likes Cunha. Like a lot of us do. And look, this is where United are right now. There is risk attached to signings. The problem, what we've done in the last 2 years particularly, is we've attached unnecessary risk to signings, where we have gone with the big bucks and allowed risk to take over. So you go to Atalanta and say, I want Højlund, and you go and say, I'm going to pay 72 mil. Well, the risk there is that he's never scored over 10 goals and he's never played in the Prem. So let's look at Cunha. Plays in the Prem, has scored 15 this season, scored 12 last year. That's pretty consistent. Not played 38 games either, 32, and he's at 29 this year. So he's 12 goals, 7 assists last year, 15 goals, 6 assists, reading up my phone here. So look, I mean, statistically, we have nobody even close to those numbers. I would imagine between Ahmad, Mainu, Højlund, Xerxes, and Garnacho, I bet we haven't got 15 goals from them 5 players. So just to put it in perspective of how poor those guys have been, that's essentially what we are looking at. Is he is playing in the Prem, and he is a good footballer. And like you just said, you spoke perfectly. The game my brother is on about is the first game of the 2023 season, which was on the back of, I think, the worst transfer window in football history. And it was going in, and Ten Hag had decided to play Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes. I must say it a million times. I still can't get over it. in a midfield with Casemiro sitting on his own, which he's never done in his career, and to lump that on him at 32 was just insanity. With two number 10s who aren't particularly good off the ball either, and Bruno's had his moments this year, but those two aren't really a prolific 10s either. Certainly Mason Mount never has been. So, look, that first game was Wolves at home at Old Trafford. You're rightly so. City bought Matheus Cunha off the back of that game because he looked like Yaya Toure, when in reality it was Cunha the one that really ran amok. And look, to be honest, I fully expect him to. If we ever lined up like that again, I would expect any professional attacker in the Prem to cause problems. Obviously, Ten Hag fucked that idea off, but the damage was done. The recruitment was shit. Højlund turned out to be bad. Onana turned out to be one of the worst signings of all time. And I suppose the rest is history when it comes to Ten Hag. But Cunha has performed now for 2 seasons for a relegation team. And I tell you where we are, Christian. We are in the Liverpool signing Mane era. That's where Man United are now. Maybe even we're worse off, but we might have a bit of a bigger pull than Liverpool. No shade at Liverpool, but that is just the case. We are scraping the barrel. We are using the last bit of juice on this United pull, in my opinion. I can't believe he wants to come to us, really. And he's a Wolves player. That's how shit
Are they above you in the league as things stand? Just.
Probably level on points now.
Sorry, just let me focus my screen. It's just...
Yeah. So Wolves are 13th in the Prem. Wolves have actually won 6. They've won 6 games in a row, so they are now 2 points ahead of United. Yeah, they've won 6 in a row. They're the form team, which is insane. And Cunha obviously scored again yesterday. Wasn't that great at United, to be fair. But look, we've seen it over a good. Look, 15 goals, a great return. People will go, well, it's not eye popping. He is a number 10. People want to remember his position here.
Yeah.
Strand Larsen plays up top for Wolves, so...
No, it's solid, and to be fair, he is a cracking player. I do like watching him play. The thing Man United lack most is creativity and goals, and he certainly brings the latter into the conversation. I think he does improve United drastically. I know people could, make jibes and say anything would, and which would probably be fair, but I do think he is at a decent level. In all honesty. I think he deserves his move. The only thing I am playing devil's advocate here, because I do genuinely think it's a decent move for United and Cunha. But do you think United don't do their... I've spoke to you about it in the past. Do you think they really fail in areas of doing their due diligence in terms of a player's character? Because he is another player that has sort of been known to have a few attitude problems, and I thought it might be worth mentioning and getting your opinion on.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, like we're talking about the risk, weren't we, before? And look, there's always risk attached to signings. There's your rare ones where you're like, this is going to work out 99%, like Haaland, for example. But you're always going to, like I said, when Liverpool went for Mane, Liverpool were in dire straits. They had like Adam Lallana and Andy Carroll and these sort of level of shit, really. We are in equal. We're worse than that. Our forwards are not of Lallana's level now, or even Andy Carroll's. They're considerably worse. So we are going to have to accept the risk. The risk with Cunha is the attitude. I seen a stat the other day. He's walked the most in the league or something. I don't know. It was a stat that's come out because we're linked with him. Shock. But the point is that if he's we need a ball carrier who has purpose, who has an end product, who can deliver at the end of it. I've watched United all season. I'm sure a lot of United fans may be watching this. You've watched every United game. We've seen enough with Garnacho now. The guy cannot do anything at the end of a dribble. He can't really beat people. What we talk about with Garnacho is he runs with it for 10 yards, doesn't really go past anyone because he can't. Then at the end of the 10 yards, he shuts his eyes, he crosses it or tries to, or shoots, gets blocked or goes wide. He's crap. Cunha can carry it. He's got pace. He's got power. Proper power, by the way. Garnacho's not got power. He gets shoved off it all the time. A la Elanga the other week against us. So, look, I think physically, he's a really strong player. 25, he's not potential, thank God. My favourite fucking word. He is look, you can't go proven, and I'm sure people will pull this up when he shits the bed at Old Trafford, but this is as risk-free signing for a player of that ability. If you want to go and get a number 10 that scored 15 goals, you are going to have to accept summer. If it's attitude, like you just said, if he walks about a bit, you are not weak. We cannot wave a magic wand and go and get Musiala. We have fell now.
No.
You know when we went and got Di Maria and we big dip Madrid and was like, oh, he was a bit unhappy. Do you remember he fell out with Real that summer over the World Cup final, and Madrid said, we don't want you to play. And United saw an opening, went in and was like, fuck, there you go, 70 million, 300 grand, whatever we paid him. Obviously, it didn't work out. Di Maria is an all-time great. What I'm saying is we cannot do that now. We have to be looking at the Manes of the world back when. And that's, in my opinion, look, if anybody's watching this and has got a name for me that's got a number 10 who can play in that inside left for Amorim in a 3-4-3, it's got pace, power, ball carrying ability. Decent at set pieces, by the way. 15 goals and 6 assists for a team that was threatened to get relegated this year.
Yeah, Alex, I think in the pool of players you're going to have to target, there's an acceptance of where you are currently at, your football club. And I think, the players that you are able to target, I think, it definitely makes sense. Like I said, I think he does deserve the move himself as well. If you look at his past couple of seasons, he's got a steady trajectory. He's certainly going in the right direction. He is a good player, good finisher as well. Which look, like I touched on it a minute ago. United lack the hardest thing in football is to score goals, and ultimately he can do it. I do think he brings that to his game. I think he brings, like you say, it's interesting you mentioned that. And I think this is an area where United lack severely. We know the goal problem, we know the creativity issue, but you have no one that can carry the football. It massively brings you on in that area. He is a powerful player as well. When he does get into his strides, I think that's why we got catfished into the whole fucking Nunes thing. Because in that game, it was Cunha that was driving for me. He looked more like Yaya Toure. Don't get me wrong, like you said, it was the way United were playing and making them look. But it never made sense. Cunha always looked the guy that could do it, and consistently he has gone on to do this all year, really. Especially this season, we've seen it from him a lot. So I do think it drastically improves United. You sort of transitioned into this question. You maybe have sort of already answered it, but I wanted to ask you anyway. Who do you think, with Cunha coming in, who do you think is the mate way for that? Who do you think is being moved out the team by Amorim?
Garnacho.
You think Garnacho? Yeah, I figured that.
Amorim knows he's shit. What Amorim is doing is he's pushing. Look at the squad. Look at the squad. I will sit here and slag off Garnacho and Højlund. I could sit here for 9 hours straight on stream and do it. And I probably enjoy bits of it, to be honest. I know how shit they are. But you know what? I'd probably start both of them Thursday in our biggest game of the season. That's where the squad is. This is me. I know. I'm telling you how shit I think them two are particularly. Yeah. And I would start them Thursday against Bilbao. That is the squad Amorim is got to work with. So, yes, look, I think Amorim knows how crap they are, personally. I get it from look, he can't sit there in a presser and slag them off. Look, I don't know, Højlund scrapped a goal today. Maybe Amorim's trying to big him up this afternoon because he's trying to squeeze some juice out for the Europa League. So, look, Amorim's in a tough spot. In my opinion, I think he's got a pair of eyes. He knows how crap they are. And look, Christian, do the maths. Who the first two players we're linked with this summer? Delap, number 9, Højlund. Cunha, number 10, Garnacho.
Yeah.
What the first two? We've got a goalkeeper that don't know what his hands are for. And the first two players...
you best believe that will be the next link, won't it?
You
do you know what I mean?
think so, mate.
But the next concrete link.
This is the thing. This is where we're at. Look, he's at it. Look, they are sitting down behind the scenes, I'm sure, weekly, talking about Højlund, Garnacho. Look, Ahmad has been missing for 3 months now. Obviously, that's killed us because we had no depth. Like, even with him, we had no subs. So to lose him was shocking because obviously we binned Rashford and Anthony as well. So
I think it's good as well, Alex, because you look at that. It's easy to be fair. People do get at United, and I think there's this sort of thing with you guys. Whoever you go for, they've had a bad time of it, and there's no secret. Whoever you sign, other than Bruno, really, they've had a fucking torrid time of it as soon as they walk through the door. But I think people are easy to jump on things. Let's not forget, there's a lot of teams that liked Cunha and that were linked with him. Liverpool being one, Arsenal were another. So, I think fair play. if United get over the line, it's a big deal for them. And I think it's a smart move as well. Release clause. He seems to want the move. What I just wanted to ask as well, we know what it means with what you were just touching on, like for like changes with Garnacho and what you're saying there. What do you think it means for other players within the team? One in particular, Bruno. Do you think this solidifies that he is going to play he's going to be deeper permanently?
Yeah. I mean, look, there's major question marks on what he thinks about the rest of the squad as well, because again, we haven't got enough players, enough competent players to even really rotate. From what I'm seeing, I don't think he rates Ugarte very highly. I think he has now fell on Casemiro as his number one midfielder. Yeah. So, look, Ugarte and Casemiro are playing because they solidify things, and that dominoes Bruno up top. I don't see Bruno as one of the front three. I don't think he's got the legs for it, the ball carrying. Amorim needs ball carriers in this team, because if you're going to go down the Dorgu type fullbacks, you need skillful players ahead of these types. Look, Dallow's okay at it, but he's got other issues in his game. Well, look, I don't know what Dorgu's going to end up, but I mean, Dorgu isn't going to be a technically great ball carrier. He's an athletic left back by the looks of things, who's got a lot to work on himself. So you need them three up top to be great. So I think, look, Ahmad is a good ball carrier. I'm going to say good. Let's not get carried away. Just because we're shit doesn't make him better than he actually might be. There's still room to grow for Ahmad. But look, we've missed him massively. If you say, I don't know about Delap, we'll do the Delap another day, but Ahmad and Cunha as the inside 10s in this 3-4-3 that we're stuck to, suddenly you have technical ability, you have pace and power on one side. Ahmad is quite quick with the ball as he is without it. That type of player. Good balance. Got a bit of quality. Obviously not to Cunha's level, because Cunha's got 15 fucking goals, man. So, look, I think you mentioned Bruno. What about Mainu? The list goes on here.
Another one I wanted to touch on, and I think just before I go on to that, I was just going to say, I think you make an interesting point, and I think the addition of Cunha, I think, helps other players. Dorgu would be a good example, Bruno another. I think there is so much reliance on Bruno in your side. He has to do everything. He has to be the guy that's deeper, because you have no one that can transition the ball from defence to offence. He also has to be the guy at offence that finishes a move off, because you have no one that can put the ball in the net. He also has to be the guy that creates, because you've got no creators within your side. So a ball carrier is a massive, massive cue for Man United, because not only that as well, it helps Dorgu. Dorgu, for instance, is going to be your outlet on the wing, and he's not, from what we've seen from him, bit of a heavy touch. We know he's not going to be the guy that's going to really be able to do, intricate moves, but he can create an overlap. And if Cunha can drag him in a different direction, it certainly gives United a different dynamic.
Yeah, look, the defenders ain't backing off Garnacho. They're not even threatened by him. They can eat him up, and he can't work yards. Cunha's a much more dangerous player, and he's got the quality at the end of it. There's no doubt about it. So, look, there's a lot of players in this squad. I don't think we're going to get a true feel for how Amorim feels. If Amorim can get another year, we're going to start to see more of what he really does want to do with this squad and some of these players. But just because, to your point here, if people are looking at this going, well, he's playing Garnacho and he's playing Højlund, he is reverse shot windowing these guys. He is showing the ownership how shit they are. Don't get it twisted. He does not think they are good. They're playing because we are in this situation of poor previous management, poor recruitment, injuries, and what we've done is we've sold players before we've replaced them as well, and Diallo has been injured for 3 months. So, look, we are where we are. Just before we move off of the sort of statistical output of Cunha, just want to talk about that people are turning the nose up at 15 goals, and by the way, Wolverhampton Wanderers, by the way, he has kept them up with those goals. They probably would have gone down before this. I mean, they could have gone down last year. They probably would have gone down this year. I know they've just won 6 in a row, which puts a bit of a shining touch on the season. But 2 months ago, Wolves were in the thick of this with Ipswich. Don't just because they have gone and got 18 points out of 18, they've changed the tide a little bit. Wayne Rooney, all-time great player, one of the best to ever play in the Premier League. I've got a question for you here. And I was just talking. I assume you're going to probably hedge hedge on the side of caution by the way I'm approaching you with this question, but I want you to answer it honestly. I think you know that I'm going to say something that's going to surprise you, but try and answer it as if you don't have a clue. Yeah? Pub quiz question. How many times did Wayne Rooney score over 15 Premier League goals in his career?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, I've posed you the question, but try and answer it as if you, just honestly, say, like I said, you're in a pub quiz.
Yeah, I think before, if you weren't doing it as a shock factor, I suppose I would have gone with how many years was he at United?
How many seasons? Okay, so, well, he went to DC in 2018, and he started in 2002, so call it 16 seasons, give or take, maybe a half
16 seasons, wow, okay. Only because I know he had a lot of time in the United squad where he was sort of having to make way for other players, Ronaldo, Berbatov, Van Persie being examples. Do you know what? I'd go I'm gonna go 6.
6. You're gonna say Wayne Rooney has scored 15 over 15 goals 6 times in his career.
I'm gonna go with that.
Right, okay. Well, the answer to the question is 4. So, for people turning the nose up at 15 league goals, look, Wayne Rooney is an amazing player. I'm not drumming him down to stats, by the way. But all I'm saying is, Wayne Rooney was a number 10. Wayne Rooney had pace and power. Matheus Cunha scored 15 goals this season for a team that was, about to get relegated. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 seasons, Wayne Rooney scored.
Yo, I'm just, I'm on a podcast.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, say that again.
Yeah. So, look, people are going, is 15 that good? Wayne Rooney, one of the all-time greats, scored over 15 league goals 4 times in his career. Yeah. So he did it 0 for Everton, albeit his career was sandwiched,
Alex, look, I agree with you. Don't sleep on it. I mean, we've seen it ourselves, and how many people bring the Drogba thing into conversation. So for a guy to be doing it off the front line, and let's not forget who he's doing it for. He's not exactly had much support, has he? Exactly, he has not been playing. I mean, who would you say in the Wolves team other than him? Really, I'm not being tight here. You'd probably have to look back to Núñez in terms of pedigree of player next to it. He has not had much. He's not had much help at all.
The next best player is a left back. Aït-Nouri is their next best player.
Aït-Nouri, yeah.
Okay.
I hear that.
We're talking about bottom half dross here. No offence to any Wolves fans, by the way.
No, it is what it is, isn't it?
You're fucking above my team, so fair play to you. But I do just want to emphasise the point of people going, 15, is that proven? Look, is it a risk? Of course it's a risk. There's always risk attached to every signing. United are buying Wolves players and Ipswich players for a fucking reason. And we're doing that because of the shit recruitment we've been dealing with. However, just putting it in perspective, Matheus Cunha's got 15 league goals this year. Wayne Rooney scored over 15 4 times in his career in the league.
And Alex, look, it's a drastic improvement. You look at your recruitment of late, which you are fuming with, and you've gone on about numerous times on the pod and on lives, right? So at least United have changed from going to the likes of Atalanta, dipping into Serie A, buying unproven Serie A players, for God's sake. At least look, if Cunha goes tits up, worst case scenario, he drops a stinker next season, no one can really go at the United board and be like, what the fuck were you thinking? It'd just be, look, it's not worked out for whatever reason. We don't really know the actual cause. But I think it makes sense. Yeah. I really do. I don't think it's a bad move at all. I think for the fee as well, what's your opinion on that? I think, to be fair, with what he's done for Wolves and like we're just saying, his goal scoring, what he brings ball carrying, I think 62.5 or whatever it is, I think that makes sense.
I think it's fine. I think because you have to pay more than that for guys who've done nothing. With all due respect,
Gibbs White, we've just been talking about. We've just done a City, and we've just done a live for my team, and we've played against Gibbs White. Yeah. We're talking 100 million. 100 million now, like you say. What is it? You just walk on the pitch and they have a pair of boots on. In
a way, the fact he's 25, I'm happier because 25's not old, by the way. If he looks after himself, that's 6 good seasons out of him. If you're 20 years old and done nothing, you go for 70 mil. Look at our number 9, done nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, but he could have 10 great years. But what if he has 10 shit years? It's an even worse part. Give me 6 good ones off Cunha than 10 dog shit years of Anthony and fucking Højlund. Just because they're 20 and 21. I say this all the time. Just because you're 20, it doesn't mean you're going to get better. There's no guarantee. And some players are what they are. Do you know what I mean? Like what let's just, you touched on the recruitment and the direction of United going for a 25-year-old established Premier League forward who has scored 15 goals, which is a good return, by the way. We've just shown Rooney stats, who's one of my favourite players, by the way. Amazing forward. Let's just look at United's recruitment. Obviously, we won't deep dive it. Just list them where we've just ticked the boxes here. So we've got Prem proven. He is. Statistically, Prem proven. 25 years old. Well in his prime. Nearly in his prime, you'd have to say.
Yeah.
Let's look at the names. Lenny Yoro. Unknown player, 62 million. Centre-back from a poor league. Had made one full season for Lille. People will say they like him because the media tell them to. He's been okay. If we're being honest, Lenny Yoro's been all right. We'll do this another day. We'll go into the signings.
Yeah, there's more question marks than there is answers with that guy.
Let's just list the names and go. Are we Prem proven? Are we statistically proven? And are we in a prime of your career? Lenny Yoro's nowhere near his prime. I mean, fucking hell, I hope not. Ugarte, 50 million. Weak league, not proven in the Prem. Is he 24?
We know his level.
Whatever, not very good. We know that. De Ligt. Okay, De Ligt's 45 million. These are euros, by the way. 45 million euros. Bounced around European leagues that are dominated by one team.
João Felix of centre-backs, a wise man once said.
Yeah, the João Felix of centre-backs. Again, well, simple. He isn't Prem proven. And I'd say he's had an okay year, been one of the better ones, but I'm not falling over myself thinking, my God, we've pulled one over Bayern here. Joshua Zirkzee, not Prem proven, not statistically proven, not in his prime. 42 million up in smoke. And people are looking at Cunha going, Patrick Dorgu, 25 mil left back. Okay, not mega expensive, but also weak league, not in his prime, not Prem proven. Mazraoui, 15 million, probably one of our better buys in fairness, just because of the fee. But again, not Prem proven. Go back the year before, my favourite season. Højlund, not in his prime, not statistically proven, not Prem proven. 77 million euros. Mason Mount, Prem proven to be shit. In his prime, but he's shit, 64 million euros.
Alex, you know what's alarming, just before you go any further? You know, a lot of these names, you know how you are rightly saying they're not Prem proven. Some of these names, they weren't even proven in the leagues you've gone from.
That's
how mad. And you think these transfer fees, they are high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not. It's not punts. Like you said, Mazraoui I'd give a pass to. But other than that, these are high-level transfers.
We spent 170 million on Yoro, Zirkzee and Højlund from shit leagues with no statistical output and barely any games behind them. 170 million, just gasoline, lighter, Bosch, and on an absolute prayer. And people are going, is Cunha the right guy? Look, we spent 170 million on three players who could be dog shit. And I'm holding out here, by the way. There's no... People love Yoro because the media are telling you to love him. What we've seen from him right now, would you go back and do the deal? The answer is no, you wouldn't, because we've not seen enough. He looks a bit Chris Smalling to me. Is he talented? He looks like he's got a bit more to give. But what I've seen this year, I ain't spending 62 mil on the guy. If this is it, and everyone's going to freak out and go, oh, no, you're talking shit, you hate young players. Look, if Lenny Yoro improves massively, then yes. Lenny Yoro is worth £62 million. He has to improve. If this is it, fuck me. It's another gaff.
Alex, and this is the thing. This is where it pisses me off with a lot of these fans that go, this new potential bollocks, that you now have to pay a premium of 60, 70 million for a player that might be good. Well, no, because you're proving yourselves. The argument has already failed because Cunha is good and you're going paying that. It's just about finding the right player, and it's about not having lazy recruitment from idiots high up at the club. You know what I mean? These guys are out there. It's just
I really like Cunha, and look, I think that, like you just touched on it perfectly. If Cunha flops, because every deal can go certain ways. I mean, Eden Hazard went to Real Madrid at 28 and was one of the worst signings of all time. This is how transfers can go. The player doesn't look after himself. Di Maria would turn out to be an awful buy. He's a great player. Things can happen. However, like you just said, look at our recruitment strategy. How many players have I just listed there? Well, we haven't signed anyone from the Prem except Mason Mount, who was Prem proven to be shit. Other than Mason Mount, we ain't signed one Prem player. Is there a wonder why we're 15th?
Yeah.
Because we're signing from Atalanta, Lecce, fucking Bologna, and all these other shit. Is there any wonder why we are 15th? Really?
If you hang around with a dosser long enough, you'll become one yourself, and that's the problem with a lot of these recruitments from United. You're buying from teams. Well, what are you doing? What's the policy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Apart from the odd outlier where you can go and get Van Dijk and Mane from Southampton, you wouldn't keep dipping into them the following year, though, would you? There is the odd few outliers.
Look, I mean, signing from a club that's quote unquote worse than you or a bottom half team is no problem, because if you're picking their best player who is proven in the league or playing in, i.e. Cunha. So, look, time's going to tell. I'm sure people will be if he turns out to be crap, people will be, and Yoro turns out to be great. Whatever. I'm not saying Lenny Yoro's going to be rubbish, by the way. What I'm saying is he has to turn out good. Or it's
Alex, but there's no argument, because all we're saying is about minimalising risk.
Yeah,
and the Cunha deal is the epitome. It's minimalising risk.
Okay.
However, a Lenny Yoro deal, it's maximum risk, because we don't know what the guy's level is. No one knows what his level is. The only level we really got told about Lenny Yoro, or you boys did, was that Real Madrid were after him. Is that true? Is it not? Do we know? Who knows? United went and paid a massive fee for him. We've seen that his injuries have been a huge issue for him from day one. He is very inconsistent. He's had probably more below average games than good ones. Yeah. And that's my honest opinion on him. Matheus Cunha, you're buying a solid Prem player that's going in the right direction. His trajectory is going like that. It makes sense. I can't see that anyone would have an issue with the deal, but we'll see how he fits in to Man United. But I do really think it takes a lot of pressure off other guys within your team. And you'd be surprised what one addition can do, because it suddenly takes the focus and the pressure off a player who you're like getting frustrated with. I'll give Dorgu as an example. It's going to free him up, because if you buy a quality player, they're going to bring players into their area. They drag other players out of position. They create space.
Yeah. I mean, look. If one player raises the team's performance, it takes the pressure off a lot of other people. At the minute, everything is shit, so everyone looks shitter than they are. It's as simple as that. As much as I think Højlund and Garnacho are useless, they're not this bad. The problem is that they are. The world is on their shoulders.
I think Højlund is.
Potentially Højlund is this bad. Yeah, but I mean, look, Garnacho possibly is as well. But like, say, Dorgu's a good example, because he's young. He's come mid-season. He's not technically great, in fairness to him. However, he's stepping onto that pitch at Old Trafford knowing he's going to probably miscontrol the first couple, and the team is going to lose, and that's how he's feeling. It's going to be tough. However, if Cunha and Delap, we'll do another day, if they come in and you think we've got goals in the team, we might be, we're at home against Brighton, and you stood in the tunnel and you got your Patrick Dorgus of the team who are playing. And they're looking around, and Lenny Yoro, for example, they're in the tunnel going, nah, mate, we've got two forwards here who are better than the other team. Yeah. Right now, they'd never say this, but I imagine Dorgu and Yoro sat in the tunnel going, I'm going to fucking miscontrol something here, and these two divs behind me ain't going to score. Yeah. I'm looking over, I've got Semenyo and Evan Ilson about to score 3.
Yeah.
So the pressure is just constantly on them. And like you said, that's what a couple of attackers can do. I want some joy back in my fucking team, mate. I am sick of it. You know, when you read your team sheet, blah, 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 you got to Højlund, Garnacho, every fucking game. I'm sick of it. It's depressing me.
Yeah, Alex, there's nothing better. Look, we all like it. When you've got a flair player in your team, they had a bit of excitement. And also, just a player with a bit of bollocks about him. When the chips are down, it's like, give me the ball.
Yeah,
I'll take it. Ultimately, what you've got at the moment, you've got these fucking idiots that play for your team. Garnacho being one who's like, yeah, give me the ball. And for some reason, people like him. But you know what he's going to produce. Shit every time. He can't find the target most of the time, let alone score. He can't fucking hit the target.
No, you're right. So, like you said, I mean, he's been looking at a Wolves team that are struggling, and he's, like you said it perfectly. Give me the ball, get out of the way. Garnacho is give me the ball, and the stewards get out of the way, because that's where That's where them shots are going, mate. So look,
Yeah, no, I agree.
look, we'll do Delap another day, but he's another one that we, look, this is where we're at, Christian. Like I said, it's Liverpool by Mane era, and Liverpool will hit the fucking jackpot. And Salah to a degree, because he was at Roma. You could all wax lyrical over Salah. No fucker wanted him.
I think Cunha, to be fair, Cunha for the money he's going for with that release clause, when that got, when Fabrizio Romano reported that, whoever was going to get him was going to get a good deal. It made sense for anyone, really. Do you know what I mean? No one could have signed him and you go, it's a bad deal. I suppose Arsenal fans could have gone, do we need him, do we not? Is he the right profile? That would have been the only question mark. For the fee, though, there's no question marks from anyone. I don't think anyone's saying that, surely.
I mean, profile's a big thing, and we touched on it at the beginning, but you say it perfectly. Yes, Arsenal might be looking at this going, well, he's not a 9. No, he's not a 9. United need an inside 10 for this specific system. Guess what system Wolves play? The fucking same as us. Yes, they're better at it, probably because they've got him and we've not. And that might be... I'm not saying I want to be better than Wolves, but I'm just saying it's going to be baby steps. But get some enjoyment back in. Get some goals in. I want to be sat there. And as soon as my team go 1-0 down, barring the odd anomaly like Leon, I am sat there going, like today, Bournemouth, I know they got a man sent off and we managed to shovel one in at the end. I'm sat there going, my team can't score. Weekly, by the way. Diallo, Cunha, Delap, I might actually be sat there going, we could go 2-0 down and still draw 2-2.
Yeah, you know what? It's about enjoying watching your team win. Look, United, I think I'm a City fan. Obviously, you're a big Red. I don't think many United fans would sit there and go, it's about challenging for titles. They're aware of the gulf. They're aware of the gap, and they know the challenge ahead. But it's about enjoying watching your team play. I think, honestly, most United fans would sit there now and go, I would take enjoying watching my team play 90 minutes over the dog shit that is being served up to them right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, mate, I just love it. I'd love to have a bit of a 3-3. A 3-3 would be great. With the forwards, look, if we drew 3-3 today and Garnacho got 2 and Højlund got the other, I'd be sat here like, look, good game of footy, bit of entertainment.
You want to see steps in the right direction, and I think he could be the start of that. So
yeah, look, baby steps. Like I said, we need to find one, then we need to find 2, and we need to build.
Yeah, I'd be interested, Alex. Obviously, people would know our opinions on him. Now, I'd be interested to do an episode on Delap because I've got quite a few thoughts on that. Maybe we should leave it for a separate one on whether we think he's the right profile. Just because I think it'd be an interesting.
Well, he is a very different conversation because obviously,
he is indeed. He's the opposite to kind of what we've been talking about today. Prem proven, Prem 1 season.
But yeah, look,
we'll leave it for another day.
That definitely is an episode because I want to do a deep dive on the numbers as well with him and Højlund. Think about anybody watching this. Think we're wrong? Please hit us up in the comments. Look, it's a change of direction in the approach with the recruitment. Like I said, these are the boxes we're ticking with Cunha. Prem proven, statistically Prem proven in his prime, and you've got to be happy as a United fan. Trust me. We can't wave a magic wand and sign Jamal Musiala. We're shit.
Yeah.
Think about where we're at. Think about what we've got to start doing. We've got to build from the bottom, sign the best players from the Prem, and go from there. That's what Fergie used to do. Fucking Everton was shit. Went and got Rooney. I'm not saying Cunha is going to be Rooney, by the way, even with the little comparison earlier. Just caveating this. I know Rooney is miles better than Cunha. I'm just saying some of my friends have been a bit like, 15 goals. But just putting it in perspective, people will sit there and go, Rooney had 16 years in the Prem, or whatever he had. I bet he made 15 or more 12 times.
Yeah. Mate, you can't sleep on 15 goals in the Prem. Surprised anyone's doing that, to be honest. It's a good achievement.
Scored over 12 twice.
Alex, I said it to you before. I don't know if it was on stream or it was when I saw you this afternoon, and I said Cunha's got the joint record for a Brazilian to score the most goals in a single Premier League campaign.
Yeah.
On 15. What does that tell you? The Prem has seen some Brazilians in the past. We've seen Robinho. I mean, City have had fucking tons. When we just went through that 2008 era when we signed about 4 of them. Martinelli has got it. Jesus. Who would have thought Jesus? Obviously, he never broke. Yeah, Firmino never broke 15. It's crazy, man. So, yeah, look, it's nothing to be slept on.
Christian, there's 4 games left, mate. He's not out of the question.
Exactly. He could end up on 19, 20. So
19, 20. So, yeah, look, let's hope we get the deal done. And I honestly will be looking forward to seeing Cunha in a United shirt. And look, can you fucking blame me? Has anybody watched any of these forwards all season? Since January, it has been fucking miserable.
It's good to see a bit of light in your eye, mate, honestly. A little twinkle for Cunha.
Get me that Cunha top from DHgate. That's what I want. You know what? As well, I want him to get either.
Do you want it with the Wolves badge on the front just to piss you off?
Wolves away kit. I want him to get the number 10 or the number 7 shirt. Strip that number 7 shirt from Mason Mount right now and give number 10 and number 7 to Diallo and Cunha, and let's actually look like a proper fucking team, please God. But look, I hope United fans are happy with this. I'm happy with this. It's a step in the right direction for the recruitment. I don't know what obviously Dorgu was a mid-season. It was like end of the night. I had no money left trying to get in a club, I think. And we ended up with him a lot. It's early days and hopefully he will improve. But look, this is the big step forward. It's going to be signing attackers this summer. Just think about that. The first port of call for Ruben Amorim and Ineos is 2 attackers from Ipswich and Wolves. And we've got a goalkeeper who doesn't know what his hands are for. That's how bad the forwards are for Man United. So look, I hope you're all pleased with that. I am. I'm not going to say roll on August yet because we have got some Europa League hell to go through and we're all clinging to that little fucking carrot of winning that. Hope them two can do some at Thursday. I really do. But I'm not putting myself through it because if you expect nothing, they don't usually disappoint. Garnacho and Hoyland. So here we are, mate. You're going on holiday tomorrow, Christian. I know you're going to be tuning in Thursday. I might be on solo watch along. So if you're watching this,
bro, I'll hit you in the comments.
Yeah, and anybody else, keep me company. Hit me up with some comments. Any of our recent subs, please do
don't
join.
Don't you worry, I will be cheering on every goal from, what is he, Nico Williams?
Nico Williams, yeah. Wow.
I want to see a big performance.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
I want a fucking hat-trick after that Mbappe curse you put on me as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, defensively, we're usually okay. It's the other end where they can't hit a barn door. But, you said, Maguire and Yoro are more dangerous than Hoyland up top. So just play
him up front.
Just play Maguire up top. I feel it. Right, okay. Thanks for listening, guys. See you Thursday for the fucking biblical first leg against Bilbao. And let's hope what we have got can do something. But if not, Cunha next year. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, Christian. Have a great holiday, mate. And we'll see you on the next one.
See you later, bro. Nice one.